Hello everyone and welcome to Klassiki. My name is Sam Goff. I'm the editorial director here at Klassiki, where we're really excited to have added to our library a collection of films from the Romanian New Wave. Now, the Romanian New Wave is one of the most significant film movements to emerge in Eastern Europe in the 21st century, certainly one of the most critically acclaimed. But from the beginning, the very idea of a Romanian New Wave has provoked a lot of debate, recrimination, and the question of whether it still makes sense to talk in terms of a new wave in 2023 is a complicated one. Now, Romanians themselves sometimes refer to an earlier new wave, which emerged in the context of the communist studio system at the end of the 1960s, with directors like Lucian Pintilia. But for most people, the term refers to a cohort of filmmakers who came to prominence on the back of festival successes in the early noughties. Now, initially, this was clustered around a group of filmmakers who had studied at Bucharest's Film Institute at the turn of the millennium, including later mainstays of the movement like Cristi Puiu and Corneliu Parumboiu. And Puiu's 2001 film Stuff and Dough is often cited as one of the starting points of this second Romanian New Wave. Our heads were truly turned by a succession of successes at Cannes in 3 consecutive years, which created a kind of escalating critical consensus that something was going on in Romania worth paying attention to. So first, in 2005, was Cristi Puiu's The Death of Mr. Lazarescu, followed in 2006 by Corneliu Parumboiu's 1208 East of Bucharest. And then finally in 2007, Cristian Mungiu won the Palme d'Or with 4 months, 3 weeks and 2 days. Puiu, Parumboiu and Mungiu became the standard bearers for this hastily assembled new wave. And for several years after that, Romanian films were ubiquitous on the festival circuit. Now, of course, there is a negative flip side to all of this acclaim coming from outside of Romania. Directors often express discomfort at the idea of being lumped together just because of their country of origin. And there was a suspicion in some quarters that the very notion of a Romanian New Wave was a foreign invention that didn't really reflect the reality of filmmaking in Romania, where audiences were often much less responsive to these award-winning films than were audiences in France, Germany, and further afield. In this classic period, the New Wave did at least have a pretty consistent aesthetic. These films, and others by the likes of Radu Muntean and Cătălin Mitălescu, were characterized by a kind of minimalist, dialogue-heavy naturalism, often shot with a roving handheld camera, which tackled social political issues with a mordant cynicism and were quick to draw the connection between Romania's communist-era troubles and the dysfunctions of its present-day neoliberal reality. Indeed, some of the most well-known of these New Wave films explored the social effects precisely of that transition from communism to capitalism. Most famously, of course, Mungiu's 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, which is about the Ceausescu-era ban on abortion in Romania. Alternatively, directors showed how the failure to transform society after 1989 had contributed to the rise of a whole new set of destructive attitudes and behaviours. And an example there would be Radu Jude's film Everybody in Our Family, which deconstructs bourgeois domestic platitudes. Now, in recent years, the New Wave has transformed and perhaps dissipated to the point that most people would say that it no longer makes sense to talk in singular unitary terms about a Romanian New Wave in the 2020s. New voices have emerged with a broader set of historical perspectives, and there's also a much needed greater diversity to Romanian filmmaking now. A key film in this regard is Adina Pintilia's Touch Me Not, which won the top prize at Berlin in 2018. And that's a daringly empathetic exploration of one woman's struggle with physical intimacy. Perhaps the key filmmaker working in Romania today is Radu Jude, and he's certainly emblematic of what's happened to the initial critical impetus of the Romanian New Wave. 2 of Jude's films are available to watch now on Klassiki. That's Everybody in Our Family and I Do Not Care If We Go Down in History as Barbarians. And that latter film, that latter lengthily titled film from 2018, is a perfect introduction to Jude's critical, subversive, but also very witty worldview. It's a meta-cinematic deconstruction of Romanian national myth-making, which is about a theatre director's attempts to grapple with her country's role in perpetrating the Holocaust in neighbouring Ukraine. It's a fantastic film, and I think it's really indicative of where the most potent energy is in terms of contemporary Romanian filmmaking. Well, we hope you enjoy watching these films and others. Thanks.